segment on this topic of sin, guilt, fear, and shame. And we've been talking about in the first 3 segments about why these exist, and in the last segment, the 3rd segment, God is showing us how to pray it. And we've been pointing out that these messages from God are in the footletter of Notes Divine, messages that have been coming to me of a healing curriculum over 12 years. And you can find it on our website, ChristianLaityFoundation.org. I'm Dr. Bob Wilpin, who is sharing this with you. Well, we're into the 4th segment about abandoning this kind of rotten thinking in our human mind that causes us to believe that all of these facets, sin, guilt, fear, shame, are real, when actually you have a golden core that we spoke of in the first segment and continue it on into this one that still exists and cannot be changed because God made it and we cannot unmake it, although God gave us the privilege of being able to have free will and to come up with any fantasy we want, that we want to play the game of being whatever we are. As a creator, God says, go right ahead, but you can't change what I made. You cannot change what I made. And we are suffering from our fantasies because now, by putting God aside and into a secondary place so that we can be the big cheese, the one thing God could not give us, we cannot be the original creator, only God is. We have fantasized and made a life, pushing God aside and making an existence in which we can think that we're in charge of all of this stuff and we're going to make it, and in actuality it all crumbled because behind it all there was a fear of God, and from fear comes guilt and shame and sin. The idea of doing things that God would never do, that's all that sin is. We're just doing something that's missing the mark the way God would do it. God says, you go ahead, I'm waiting for you, and indeed you're looking at these segments today because you're ready to make a move on yourself. And the tragedy, the awful sadness, the overwhelming pain of human existence, and you're making a move, and God has put us there for you in this Christian Laity Foundation to support your move. You'll be able to reach us by email. You're able to reach us by phone. If God is nudging you to do it, you're going to do it. If God doesn't nudge you to do it, you won't. But you need support in this process. All of us do, including me, because the human mind has such an ability to trick you. On we go with it. We left off with the statement that God has taught you how to pray, and I'll repeat it again. Jesus says to say this, or your God, whoever it is, because we're of a Christian orientation. When we speak of our God with our statement of who God is, you just substitute whoever God is for you, because the healing is what's important, not your name of God. Say, Lord God, administer me the fulfillment that's yours. Deliver to me who I want to recover it. Give it back to me. Help me to get rid of my mind. Begone my mind, unholy made, that raptures not the glory of you. It doesn't do this for you. It doesn't do this of you. It's my cockamamie thing that I'm going from. Whereupon, if you pray this, the rhapsodies of love abandon. We're hearing the song of abandoning love when we put God into a secondary position. When the rhapsody of love abandon now flee from your praying, you will glorify the raptures of love supreme. You recover the awareness of this. And God goes on now. Makest this do, makest this do, my love, the love supreme, the ultimate love, makest this do. I put that in you. Reap the rewards that are manifest within you when you're willing to come back to me and do this praying to let me help you. Reap the rewards manifest within you, that hope springs eternal from me. From me. Withhold this not. Stop withholding it from yourself. And you're going to be needing to flow into this kind of a process in order to be able to rid yourself of it. And you will need a support group as well when you do this, because the human mind is so tricky that even we find in Scripture that when Jesus sent out his disciples, he sent them out 2 by 2. When he taught them, all 12 of them were together with him. The support. At his worst moment in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he knew he was going to get arrested and he would have to go through the crucifixion and that he had to suffer the torture of this, even though he went to his Father and begged, do I have to go through with this? No, no, your will be done, not mine. And he prayed it 3 times. It was so difficult for him. It was so painful for him. Like this world also has such pain for us. It's a killing world. Where are the living waters? We can't feel them. There's such pain from this mind that Jesus, even after this, turned to 3 of his disciples who were in the garden with him, and they had fallen asleep on him. And he turned, how could you do this in this hour of my greatest need? He even needed the support that God was providing him because Jesus was in a human form. He possessed the divine, as do we. But he was now struggling with his human form, and we as human beings, if we don't feel the fullness of God within ourselves, we need support from others around us. And Jesus turned even at that point for support to his disciples, and regretted that they could not be available for him. But he had gotten enough support in the divine mind that he was able to go through with what he needed to do. And he proceeded to do it. But this is the story of us. This is the story of us. This is the fullness of what came of God trying to bring you back to your golden core, but you need a support group. I have one. Those who are associated with me, we all use each other for support. That support has been there for years. The support turned me to God to help me to stop forsaking my golden core. Years of therapy and all that I went through wasn't enough. It didn't solve it. It wasn't within the helping professions. It had to be within God, and I needed to be able to turn to God and get the support from God, and God had to find people who would get me to turn to him, because I was a doctor of psychology, still am, but I was following psychology's principles, and they couldn't take me all the way that needed to go. And I found a support group. God provided people who spoke with me about how I was actually looking for something that was of spiritual nature. And the support began years back of people coming into my life. And where in your life, this is why you're looking at this kind of stuff. Now, on that same day of number 149, on September 2nd, the year 2000, more messages came. Listen to God now, throwing more support in. You think, isn't that message complete? No, he keeps going with a separate message that comes up. And he repeats, across the world, the cry arises for healed hearts and souls. You're like everybody else, and everybody is like you. More reinforcement. Witness not, don't show. Witness not to shame thoughts that fritter away the glory of me. Every time you're involving yourself in a thought of shame, you can't feel the glory of what is me in you. He's reminding you, you have my glory, my being in you. And it's a loved one. Listen to him. Witness yet the manifestation of me that calls upon my loves, that's us, to return hearts and minds to recall of me. He calls you my loves, my love. He calls me. He's calling me his love. He's calling you his love. Oh, come on, I've screwed up so many times. I drink, I get depressed, I do that, I mistreat people, my family is a wreck. He's calling me his love. Yes, because he knows you're lost, that we don't have him as our center, as our prime process by which to heal. And you are his love. He made you. You're his love. You're his love. Yes, he calls you his loves. Maybe that's helpful to you to know God says, my loves, goes on. Calls upon my loves to return hearts and minds to the recall of me. That's where the healing is. Whereupon, if you do that, will you know and see the glory of me in you imbued, that you will now find this if you're game to do it. Lord, I choose to do it. Maybe you're going to say at this point, Lord, I want to see this. You called me my love. I don't see myself that way. Please help me see myself as you see me. Lord, let me see you as you know yourself to be if you have questions about him. Lord, let me see others who I'm having troubles with as you want me to see them. Look at the way prayers can go and vary from knowing that you have a golden core, so does everybody else. Everybody is the golden core of God. Everybody else is that golden core. And we need to provide support to them. If they see you with the knowledge of the golden core, they will want it. They will feel it inside themselves because there's a oneness of all our minds. And what you feel about yourself gets passed on to the others because their mind is one with you. And God uses your mind and this golden core when you're recalling it to help other people to be able to see it. And he ends it up, refrain not, for tender mercy be the sight in the glory of me. Tender mercy be the sight. Refrain not, for love awaits. Sickness gone of heart and soul. Glory be. Manifest me. Think of what this is doing. Sickness is gone of heart and soul by doing this kind of praying. And you will do it by manifesting me. That's where the healing is. That's where the healing is. If you'll let this process happen, you will feel God as you as God, other than the fact you're not the original creator. And that's how God created you, golden core. That's how God created you, golden core. And instill another one on September the 2nd. God states, heal not thyself in useless manner. Depend on me, you must. Don't feel bad that you can't do it. Stop doing that to yourself. That's your human mind. Depend on me, you must. That's where your strength is. It's your strength that you're even entering into this process. You're doing fine. You couldn't do any other way because I created you to do fine. When you would have problems, I will step in and help you. Bless your hearts, dear loves, for staying through with us in these 4 segments. We send you our love, and we know you're sending yours to us too. Take care.